Welcome to the grand finale of Masterclass Best Ball Show. Over 20 weeks, intense drafts, deep dives into strategy, and it all comes down to this. 1 week, FFPC, $125 buy-in. Are you ready to graduate? Strap in, sit down, let's get it. Welcome into Club Fantasy FFL. Welcome to Masterclass. And tonight we are back in the FFPC streets for the grand finale. As always, our co-host and Professor Stacy Perez at Stacy_Perez83. And you can find me at FantasyJ77 on Twitter. Stacy, this is it. This is the finale.
This is it.
What it comes down to, $125 buy-in.
Ooh.
We're going for the gold here. How are you tonight?
I am super pumped, Gator. I just came off a whole weekend of drafting high stakes drafts out in the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship out in Louisville. Drafted in a home league tonight. Got done in time, getting back here for this 9 o'clock start. Draft begins now. We are number 2. Team 1 is on the clock. I'm ready to go. Gator, and I got to tell you, Christian McCaffrey off the board. No big surprise there for one. I'm thinking about shaking it up a little bit, Gator.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were actually going to talk about this beforehand. We've got about a minute per pick on these here.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about this pre-show. We've done one more of these earlier this year, about halfway through the year. And I don't remember exactly what spot we were in, probably 6, 7, somewhere in that range. And we took Amon-Ra. So you brought up a whole new idea or a different way to do this, approaching it from the 2 spot. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what the thought process is here? And I'm with you on this.
Yeah, so I've got 30 seconds left, and what my plan is that I want to take Breece Hall here, and I'm going to go ahead and do it now so we can not time out. But basically, the reason for this is this is not our first one of these. I've done several also on my own. Kind of want to get a little bit different of a build. Kind of with my exposure to different players, see what I can do with that pick, because obviously Breece Hall is going in the first round, right? So at the number 2 spot, if we don't take him there, we're not getting, it's not like he's ever going to come back to us. So I think when you're doing a few of these different drafts, you can mess around with your builds a little bit, try different things out, see what you like. And that's the nice thing about that. If I was just doing one, I probably would stick to, taking a receiver there, first. But, since this is not our first and only, I think it might be fun just to see what we can do. And I mean, come on, who's going to blame me for taking Breece Hall, number 2, right?
Well, that's the other side of it, right? We don't have another pick because we're at the 2 spot here till the 211.
Exactly.
Of course, you're going to see these top 3: Christian McCaffrey, Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson, in whichever order you have them in, go off the board in this first round. So by the time it gets back to us, we're going to be looking at a Josh Jacobs.
Ooh, that's a fun name.
Well, but what I'm getting at is as your RB1, though.
Oh, yeah, as your RB1, exactly. That if you were inclined to take somebody that early. Yeah, so if you were inclined to take another running back that early, you probably would be looking at a Josh Jacobs. I can't even begin to tell you the last time I did a double RB start, but Josh Jacobs is a fun name, especially after all the cuts from this afternoon, huh?
Yeah, well, I can tell you the last time you did it, and it was with me because I actually talked you into it.
We did do a double. Right. You're right.
That was from, I want to say that the back end, like the 9-10 areas where we did that from. And hey, we at the end of the draft, we both sat back and looked at it. And we're like, okay, not too shabby. But again, that was from the back end of the draft there too. So
exactly.
Not saying we should do a two RB start here, but we just have to see.
Yeah, and like I said, see, and Travis Kelce goes at the 11. Guys, remember that this is FFPC scoring, so this is a tight end premium. And you're talking about best ball here. This is slim format. I don't hate the Kelce pick there at the end. Especially you're talking about the end of the draft recently. That's kind of gotten a little bit gross there. The trade with Jahan Dotson has kind of made some people, down a little bit on AJ Brown. It's kind of boosted Garrett Wilson a little bit. Puka still having that injury. It's kind of, bumped him a smidge. So, I'm definitely seeing some different builds, with the guys that are at the, 10, 11, and 12 spots.
Yeah. news come out the other day that Jamar Chase was back at practice on Sunday. And then today that came out that more than likely it's about a 99% chance that he will play in week 1.
Right.
At the point where he was still holding out, we saw him bump back a little bit and saw Amon-Ra jump in front of him. And in some boards, he's still in front of him. But now we're looking at this board, and we see Chase jump right back into that wide receiver 3 there and truly no surprise to me. I know how high you are on Amon-Ra here, going 7 spot and right 1 spot behind Chase here. What do you think about that?
I think that's fine. For me, it's not really Chase that I have the issue with. It's more so Burrow. That is what really concerns me with that injury. I'm going to name drop just a tiny bit, but, because this is what I'm really basing this on is, having talked to Stephania Bell earlier, in the year, just about that injury, about how it's very rare for a quarterback to have that kind of injury, and how she was a little bit, kind of concerned about, Joe Burrow coming back this season and, what that would mean fantasy wise for him and the rest of the Bengals. So really that's the concern for me is, and it's Jamar Chase. I mean, you could say the same thing for Justin Jefferson, suffering from maybe perhaps a little bit of a lower, standard of quarterback play. There's still the alphas there. They're still going to get theirs. But that just is kind of what worries me a little bit about Jamar. And kind of gives me that little slight edge to Amon-Ra there.
Yeah, there's another wide receiver that has jumped back up to the wide receiver 1 spot after collecting $135 million over 4 years. And that is CeeDee Lamb, who for a very, very short period there, when he was holding out, had been he'd lingered at that wide receiver 2 spot. Again, depending on your board, Tyreek Hill was wide receiver 1, but CeeDee jumps back up to that wide receiver 1 spot here. Does that make you look at Dak Prescott any more in these? Does that move Dak Prescott up for you in the quarterback rankings now, knowing that he's going to have CeeDee? Even though I think you and I thought that CeeDee was going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
But now it's a for sure.
I mean, not really, and only just because I really never thought that it was a reality that the Cowboys would not be playing with CeeDee Lamb on the field this year. Jerry can say whatever he wants to, but I think at the end of the day, you're not going to let CeeDee Lamb not, play for you this year. Would be, malpractice is basically. So that deal was getting done. I do like Dak. It's kind of like one of those later round quarterbacks that, if you're not going to go after those elite guys, he's definitely somebody that I've been targeting that's on my list for sure. And I see we go back to back tight ends over here with Laporta and McBride off the board.
Yeah, and you are not the first one to say Dak's not elite. I have a hard time saying he's not elite, even though he only has the 1 wide receiver. He's had a quarterback 3 year. That's pretty damn elite for me. But that's beside the point. I guess I'm just a fan.
Oh man. So, who went a little bit early here in this was Devon Achane going here at the 9 spot, getting paired there with AJ Brown. If you take a look over at Fantasy Mojo and the ADP for this draft in the last 2 days, so this is boards from the last 2 days, Achane is actually going at the end of the 2nd round. So that was quite a bump for him to get bumped up to the early part of that. I actually got him in the 3rd round of a redraft league this weekend, which I thought was a little bit of a coup.
I think if I was targeting Achane, that would be where I would want him, right? I don't want to overspend for him, and I think this year going here at RB6 off the board here, early 2nd round, you're almost getting him at his ceiling, right?
Yes, and we're on the clock right now. That was absolutely a brutal snipe with Dalton Kincaid there. That would have gone so nicely. That week 17 correlation there for the Jets and Buffalo. Team 3, that was just rude. So I guess I want to go receiver here now. Do you have a preference, Gator, with London, Olave, Devontae Adams?
So real quick, I just want to ask a question before we still got 20 seconds. Okay. Because we've done so many of these, I want to make sure the scoring's correct. This is half or is this full PPR?
Full point. We're at 10 seconds.
Full point PPR. How about we do double up right here? We go get Travis Etienne right now. Ooh. You're not going to get back to him. I don't believe he makes it back. But it's Travis Etienne right here, and then we come back and we get the if Drake London or even a Jalen Waddle make it back to us right on this turn right here for the 3-2.
Right, for the 3-2, exactly. So, guys, remember too, this is not, like your underdog typical rules where you're starting 3 receivers. This is FFPC rules, so you're only starting 2 receivers, and then you do have those 2 flex spots. So those flex spots can be used for, anything, whether it's a receiver, a running back, or a tight end. So you are going to see a lot of like bully tight end. You're going to see a lot of tight ends taken early. There goes Drake London off the board. Let's see who's left there. I love Jalen Waddle. I think
Yeah,
We've
for me,
got
right here, it would be a Jalen Waddle, or I would be looking at like a Mark Andrews, even possibly right here. I know it's a onesie position. We're not going to get, we're going to end up kind of iffy in the wide receiver room if we don't go get a wide receiver right here. But I'll let you.
Do you like Waddle here? So let me just ask you there, because we have Devontae Adams, we've got Nico, we've got Debo on the board too. Does it concern you at all to take a 2 in that offense over some of the ones that are available?
I just truly believe that the Miami offense is just going to be slinging the ball all over the place. They had 597 pass attempts last year. Yes, Tyreek Hill is going to get his, of course, but who else is getting the ball in that wide receiver for the wide receiver there in Miami? They'll probably throw a couple dump offs here and there, but tight ends don't make a factor in any of their decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other one that I would be looking at if I was going to go wide receiver here would probably be Nico, because he's going to be on the field when they're in 2 wide receiver sets there in Houston.
Yeah, we do have a ton of Nico, so let's go ahead and go Jalen Waddle there. Taking a look, and just exposure wise too, I have a lot of Nico in some of these drafts, so I definitely don't have a Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle build at all. So, and what's nice too, Gator, is that, just talking about correlation there, I was hoping to get Dalton Kincaid, but Jacksonville with Travis Etienne, the Jets play Jacksonville in week 15. So there you go.
There we go. Yeah. The one thing that I try to keep an eye on too, and I know you and I have talked about this, is we always say follow the money when we're talking about these players.
Yes.
When you look at these contracts, Jalen Waddle, even though he's the number 2 in Miami, he's paid as if he's the number 1 on any other team.
Barely. And he would be a 1 on any other team.
But he's barely he's just getting just a little bit less than Tyreek Hill. So
yeah,
I still think that, and it's just going to be volume. And with it being a 1 point PPR, full PPR rather, I just can't pass up that volume there. I'm a little surprised that Malik Neighbors jumps in there to the wide receiver 14. I think there's questions there on, of course, Daniel Jones, but I think Wan'Dale's still going to be a factor as well. Just going back to
Wan'Dale's a nice one that I like to grab towards the end of drafts too, because he is going to be the 2 in that offense. And you can get him for, nearly free.
Yeah, just going back to a conversation a minute ago that we were having about Dak Prescott. Fantasy Dog jumps in and says Prescott had 6 top 3 weekly finishes last year, where Allen only had 5, Hurts only had 4, Jackson 4, Justin Fields had 4. Oof. And then Tua had 3. So, again, going back to that, I think he can be in that elite category, but he's not for some unreason. I mean, maybe because he was a 4th round pick. I don't know. Maybe because it's maybe because it's Dallas, and we're sitting here looking at it and going, Jerry Jones is all in. I mean, Dalvin Cook could be the next running back there as well. So who knows?
Oh yeah,
who freaking knows? Vince is in the chat as well. How you doing,
What's
Vince?
up, everybody? I see Ann and Vince in there too, and Scampers. Was in here a minute ago, and Albert. What's up, guys? Thanks for hanging out. I want to say Vince with his 31% share of Marshawn Lloyd. God bless you, Vince, because I am right there with you, man. I was super high on Marshawn Lloyd too, and hopefully that'll be okay for us once he gets back on the field after getting off IR. But man, that was a little bit brutal today. And then we saw AJ Dillon, season-ending injury. So Emmanuel Wilson season to the moon. I can't wait to see if he gets drafted in this or later on.
Let me ask you about this, because Vince brings this up, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit later, and we'll talk about the exposures that we currently have. But he said, speaking of exposures, as you asked, I ran the numbers for the 60-plus leagues, and these are the top 4. Of course, he says Marshawn Lloyd is his number 4 at 31%. DJ Moore, which we knew he was going to have a high share of DJ Moore. And then Javon Baker at 39%. But his number one seems to me, I mean, all of these are a little bit high for me, especially in that many leagues. But 48% is extremely high for me, even if it is what we presume to be tight end one on the year, correct?
Yeah, that is a little high, but I mean, if you're going to go high on a player, you know, I'll take a 48% on Trey McBride. That should get you a pretty good return, Vince, if things go as they should.
Yes. Okay. All right. That's it's Vince. I mean, everything's upside down there in Australia anyway. So
I love it though. Trey McBride, I mean, at least you don't have, 40-something% of Marshawn Lloyd right now. So, gosh, man, today was just, with the cuts and everything going on, like it's obviously so important that you're keeping up to date and making sure that you're getting all those notifications because, if you're drafting right now, you're drafting, like I did a draft earlier today, and if people aren't up to date on who's been cut, what injuries are going on, who's on the IR, who's got season ending injuries, it could be pretty disastrous for your team. So, word to the wise out there, make sure you've got a good app that gets you notifications immediately as soon as they come out. Colin in the chat. Colin knows exactly who I'm talking about. Colin was in my home league draft earlier, Gator. And there's a team who shall remain nameless who unfortunately went AJ Dillon, Elijah Mitchell, and then followed it up with Tyler Higbee. So
see, that's not good. That's not good.
It's not. I feel bad for laughing because he really honestly didn't know. We're not laughing at you. We're just laughing with you.
No, I'm not gonna laugh at you, but yeah, definitely gonna laugh. No, I wouldn't do that. Yes, I'm gonna laugh at you. Never mind. I'm just gonna do it. That's ridiculous. Home league draft. I don't care if it's a free league or if it's $150. You should definitely at least look at the recent news, right?
Yeah. Here we go. Recent news. And just like total plug, I use the Fantasy Life app to get my notifications. And from the last few years that I've used that, I mean, I get notifications almost immediately, either before or immediately right after the news kind of breaks. So, and it's free, which is always a good thing. I have a feeling we are going to have to punt tight end.
I have a feeling that as well.
The way that this is going.
It's kind of looking at it. I think that's kind of the tier break, though, right? It's Evan Ingram and George Kittle is kind of the tier break. Whatever order you want him in: Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid, Mark Andrews off the board. Yeah. Then you hit this maybe second tier or third tier, maybe however you want to look at it. Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, George Kittle. But then from there, it kind of gets a little
hairy, right?
A little murky.
Yeah. Smidge, just a smidge. Okay, let's go through, start throwing some people in our queue.
So as you're doing that, you're going to be coming up on the clock here shortly. We have 3 quarterbacks off the board as well. All 3 of them going in this 4th round: Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes. The Kyren Williams is one that is RB8 right here, which I don't hate it at RB8. It's not my RB8. News comes out today that he will be the punt returner this season per Sean McVay. Interesting to say the least. Don't know how many punts on average there is or returns are going to be during the game for the punts, but does this make you go and go, maybe Blake Corum needs to move up the board a little bit to enter that backfield?
I think so. For me, that makes Blake Corum move up just a little bit more. And especially knowing, I think they made some cuts today as well. So you get that news about, Kyren, and then you also see the cuts that they made. It was oh my gosh, am I thinking of the rookie from last year? That was on their team. Evan Hull. That's Indy. You know who I'm thinking of.
No, you're thinking of Spiller, I believe.
No, that's from the Chargers. We'll get it figured out in a second. We're on the clock, and I want to go receiver here, I think. Although Team 1 is also lacking at tight end. We could take Ferguson. There's Njoku, Bowers. Those are the last 3 that I would feel comfortable with.
What if somebody I want to the number one player on our queue I really like, but I think he can come back around to us.
I think so too.
I think really between those three, Ferguson, Njoku, Bowers, I'd rather not have to make the choice on them.
Yeah.
So here maybe somebody like, why not go get Steph Diggs right here? You're looking at correlating there with where was it? Miami, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
15.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Let's take Diggs. And then, yeah. So that's I'm just do my little crossing off of
See, now they're gonna make us make this decision on Ferguson, Njoku, and Bowers here. Let me just kind of glance over to.
I mean, Bowers is obviously the upside pick, right? But from what I understand, like Vegas thinks that they're going to be one of the lowest scoring offenses, this season. So that along with New England. So that's a big concern. All right. And obviously like quarterback concerns. Njoku, I'm not as worried about. Ferguson, I like as well.
Correlation as well. Again, Miami.
Yeah. So we do have that Cleveland we can bring in with Miami. Let's go ahead and take David Njoku here.
Okay.
And I think some of these receivers that we like will come back to us. And I think that's what we can kind of do. We've got our two stud, running backs here with Breece Hall, Travis Etienne. We can really just kind of hammer receiver now for a little bit. And this is going to expose us too. So, just some other receivers that we might not normally have available to us if we've done a 0 RB build, right? Because we've taken all of those guys up front and then we're kind of focused on rebuilding that running back room towards the middle of the draft. So in a draft tonight, we're going to be just, pounding receiver here to try to get that stacked up pretty good, because like I said, with this format, you're only starting 2 running backs. So you don't have to start, 2 plus a flex or anything like that. I doubt we're going to be flexing too many of our running backs.
Well, I mean, if you're flexing Travis Etienne, that'd be a nice flex, but
it would be. Any of the ones that we're going to get after these guys, we're probably not flexing, but those 2 for sure.
Yeah, no, and I just threw a couple into the queue there to see what makes it back to us. There's just a couple guys that I actually like there because like Terry McLaurin just went off the board here, but there's a couple in there that maybe make it back to us, and we can see if we can correlate or add some other games to correlate with there.
Exactly. I'm going to throw one more in there that I really like. Later, there goes Ferguson. I'm surprised it took them this long. Is he? Oh, look at that. That's nice. I really like what Team 7 is doing here with the Amon-Ra St. Brown, Samuel Porta. Then they went Derrick Henry. They've got Brandon Ayuk and now Jake Ferguson. Oof. Team 7, if you happen to be listening, reveal yourself because I like what you're up to.
Yeah, MC Inc. is the team name there. Yeah, I really like it as well. I mean, he got some, for me anyway, RB10 for Derrick Henry is good value. But getting it in the middle of the 3rd round is just insane.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and Brandon Ayuk here in the 4th. And I get that he's dropping. I mean, he's staying in San Francisco. I'm going to die on that hill. I don't think that he's going anywhere.
Yeah, basically a full round after Debo.
That's wild. I'm going to take a look real quick at ADP just to see where so he has been going in the 4th the last couple days. Henry goes at the end of the 2nd. So that's great value for Team 7.
Yeah. I really like that team so far. I mean, there's a couple different builds here, but you would expect it, I guess, with a 125 being a little bit sharper room. What's nice is you're sitting here, you see 4 quarterbacks go in the 4th round, but it doesn't feel like you have to go get your quarterback, right? You're not feeling pressure because it's like, okay, whatever. They're not back to back to back to back, and it's like, oh shit,
right. And it's the top 4. I mean, you've got Lamar. First it goes Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Lamar. Yeah, Lamar went about a round early, but other than that, the other 3 were right on track.
Yeah, I'm liking some of these builds. To be honest, watching this back end here. You've got three teams that only have 2 wide receivers, and then one that has 3 wide receivers, hoping that our wide receivers make it back to us here, or at least one of them do.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw some people in the Q2 that might kind of go with our correlation for what we already have.
Joe Mixon going at RB17 seems a little criminal as well.
Oh, well, especially, I mean, he's usually going before guys like Kamara, Cook, Ken Walker. He's kind of in between that. Josh Jacobs is kind of, for me, that's kind of where that tier falls. And then Joe Mixon goes. He's kind of that one guy. And then it kind of starts with the Kamaras, the Cooks, the Walkers, White, James Conner, Najee, that kind of group.
Yeah, almost like everybody just forgot that he was even there.
Yeah, that's such a coup for them. So they've got, this is team 12 that we're talking about. So they've got Gibbs, Puka, Kyle Pitts, Devonta Smith, Anthony Richardson, Joe Mixon. Let me ask you, Gator. So with the Jahan Dotson trade, does that do anything for Devonta Smith to you? Or are you kind of staying away from him? Does that just add too many things going on with that offense? Or does it matter at all?
I don't think it truly matters. I mean, he's going to be the wide receiver 3. Devonta Smith, I mean, and we know this, it could be a wide receiver 1, very much like Jalen Waddle on any other team in the league. He just happens to have, some guy named A.J. Brown in front of him, which is not a bad thing. Brown takes a lot of coverage and allows, for Devonta Smith to just take over the zone in the middle and do what Devonta Smith does. As they say, skinny Batman, they can't catch him.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that it's going to affect Devonta Smith that much. If it affects anybody, it's what little bit of work that Dallas Goedert was going to get.
Yeah.
I don't think it affects anybody else. And, of course, both of the wide receivers that I was looking at wanted to come back to us, go right here with Amari Cooper and Christian Kirk. For some reason, Amari Cooper is just sliding way too far down the board for me. He's a wide receiver. He's the wide receiver 1 on what should be a pass-happy offense, no matter what quarterback they decide, whether it's Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, DTR, or Tyler Huntley, whoever starts. They kept 4 of them. So for some weird reason, they kept four quarterbacks in Cleveland. Maybe they'll trade one. Who knows? Let me ask you this. Cleveland Browns send Jameis Winston to the New York Giants.
Did this just happen while we were on air?
No. I'm just in theory.
Theory.
They send him to the New York Giants for whatever. How far does that move Malik Neighbors up? Knowing that he may only catch 30 touchdowns, or he may only catch 30 balls, but it's going to be 30 touchdowns.
I don't know that he does get moved up. I mean, he's going in the 3rd round right now, and I think that's pretty appropriate. I mean, he's going in the 3rd round with Danny Dimes back there throwing to him. So that's pretty high. I don't know that I would put him above Waddle, Olave, London, because those are guys that are going before Cooper Kupp, Marvin, Harrison, Puka. I couldn't in good conscience put him above any of those guys. So I think that's probably where he would stay, is in that probably early 3rd round for me. So we're going to be on the clock. I was really hoping Bowers would make it back to us, even though I really didn't think that he would. So we could go, double tight end there. That would have been nice. But not to be. That's okay.
I'm double checking something here, and I'm not seeing. I'm missing a wide receiver somewhere. No, I'm not there. Yes. Okay.
All right. So our options in the queue right now.
Oh, we just got sniped.
I know we really did. Yeah, team 2 is quite the little sniper. I don't necessarily love the 3rd run or receiver that we've got in there, but
no, that was for later.
Okay.
Because I've got so it's you and I are doing the exact same thing on it. I like the first 2 for sure. But I think we go get either one of them, whichever one you prefer, and then we see
Ugh.
what comes back around. Because I think
I
there's
mm, let me oh, I don't know. Let's go ahead and do this. This makes me nervous, to be
uh-oh.
completely honest. I ugh, that makes me really nervous. Did it not come through yet?
I don't know. Did it? It
I mean,
says you're on the clock now, 60 seconds.
it says I took him.
All right, let's
So I think, yeah, there it is. Okay.
okay.
Uh-oh.
I
Oh
just
gosh, we're on the
gonna
clock again. We're on the clock. I can't see the board.
I'm just refreshing it. Give it 1 second. There it goes.
Okay.
Okay, so we took Deontay, they took DeAndre Swift and
Oh,
Javonte.
good. Well, we can either get JSN or Jaden Reed. What's your preference?
I'd rather have JSN right here.
Okay.
And I think we can
I don't think he comes back to us.
You don't think, huh? Okay.
Jaden Reed, no, he's not going to come back to us.
I am not Vince. There's not Vince.
I like both of these players a lot.
I don't know why the board is. Did you not select it yet? Because okay, now it's counting.
Here we go.
Why is it not?
I'm going to do that. I feel like
go.
that's going to open. If we want to do some stacking later, that's going to open us up to some different, a little bit better options.
Fair enough.
Trying to make me draw.
Yeah.
Vince.
Let's see. What do we currently need besides quarterback? We are pretty good everywhere else, and then we're going to be filling in. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Yeah, I think we need to have some more depth at wide receiver there, just because we did late. Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Let's get we took Deontay Johnson there in the 6th. So Carolina, that's not one that I've taken. So we've got some Dallas correlation we can look at. We've got some Arizona and then Tampa Bay in the week 17. And then Green Bay with Jaden Reed. They're at the turn in the 7th. They've got Seattle, New Orleans,
and Minnesota.
Right?
Which that should be a very interesting division as a whole, that NFC North between the Bears, Minnesota, and Detroit. So should be fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Maybe tuning in more of those games than I am watching of the NFC South this year for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really fun division, and I'm not just saying that because my Packers play in it. I mean, I think all the teams are so interesting, right? With the Bears, Caleb Williams or Madunze, like what's gonna happen there? Minnesota, can Sam Darnold pull it together? And then Detroit, just you can't help but root for those guys, even though I'm a Packer fan. I feel like a traitor, but I love watching Detroit. They're just so exciting.
Well, talking about the NFC North, we saw a player that hasn't played an NFL game since 2021 looked really good this offseason in camp and everything. 5 for 5, 40-something yards and a touchdown. Tim Patrick gets cut, but immediately joins the Detroit practice squad with intentions of making the team.
Yeah.
That could be very, very spicy there in Denver, having Amon-Ra and Tim Patrick on the field together.
Oh yeah, I mean that is definitely something to watch out about. And so this weekend when I was in Kentucky drafting, and obviously those are redrafts, they're not best balls, but still, Tim Patrick was definitely a late round guy that was, being put on the boards. So he is out there. People are drafting him and very excited to draft him as a kind of a late round sleeper.
Yeah, I was with Chris and I were on last night. We had Linda Lyons and Lindale, and Lindalians on, and she's a huge Denver fan.
Yeah,
and was happy to see Tim Patrick. We actually had a conversation about it last night, and then this happens, and she's like, "What in the hell?"
Right?
Yeah. I don't, Vince. I don't know. I mean, he's had 2 years to recover. Yes, he bad injuries, whatever. But he looked really good this offseason. So we shall see. when you're looking at our team right now, Brees Hall,
Mm-hmm.
Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, David Njoku, Deontay Johnson, Jaden Reed. We're missing a quarterback right now. I know we can wait on it for a little bit longer. It's not like it's an emergency or anything like that. However, are you looking to try to stack here? Are you looking to go get the maybe a couple of these guys make it back to us and we have a choice to make? But, we're not going to get CJ Stroud. He's already off the board. What's the thought process?
So it's like you read my mind, Gator, because I was literally writing out the quarterbacks that were still available that we could stack with right now. I was making a little chart. Yeah.
At this point, you think we've done this once or twice.
Yeah.
And like, okay, what timing do we need to have? Where are we going to talk about? Yes. Okay. So
exactly. That's so funny. I mean, I literally am like right in the middle of like just making my little chart, so I can take a look at it later. That's hilarious. And what's nice is that there's 4, at least right now for me. There's another one on there, but I don't particularly care for that one. And none of them have the same buy. So really we could do a lot of different combinations here. This is best ball, 20 rounds. You're going to be taking more than one. So there's a few different, things that we can play around with.
Yeah. And depending on which first one we snag and we're able to grab for our first quarterback, truly depends on if we're grabbing one more or two.
2 more. Yeah. So I'm going to throw one in the queue here. And if he's the one we want, we are going to have to take him in this round if he's still there.
I already know which one it is. I have a feeling.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Just put him in the queue. I'm just going to go ahead and throw the other guys in the queue just so that they're there. And we don't have to do it later. And the last one in there, it might be a nice one, just kind of if we are, as a get the one now and then we could wait on for later. If that's how we decide to do that build.
Let's see. Looking at that. Yep. And then where is it? This would be the one I would have thought you'd had on there, to be quite honest, but we shall see. But yes, I like those.
Yeah.
Did I not add it? Did it not add?
I don't know. I'm still looking at, I don't see anybody new in the queue.
It'll be all right. Nobody's watching. I can just talk about it out loud. Nobody's paying attention to us. This is true. I usually do. I usually just let the auto figure it out for me. Vince, and usually because of that, I end up with like 3 of them. I did this one time, and Vince is never gonna let it go.
He's never gonna let it go. Never.
Never gonna let it go. So, speaking of Cleveland earlier, they kept their 4 quarterbacks. They made a cut today. I know hurt both of our feelings because I don't know what our exposure is overall, but I think mine is pretty high. But he doesn't have a team right now. It's like probably like 20%. But Deontay Foreman out at that's not great. Not great, Bob, as they say. What would with him being out? Most of these guys that we'll talk about they have gotten cut will end up with their original teams on practice squads or playing by other teams for practice squads. But looking at Deontay Foreman, do you see a spot where he could land and still be fantasy viable?
Yeah, so Fantasy Dog in the chat just put Foreman to Dallas. I'm hearing rumors that he may get re-signed with Cleveland, which I would really hope that happens. And if he doesn't, he's going somewhere. He is every year without fail waiver wire darling. If you haven't already drafted him, he's going to find a home somewhere. Are you comfortable with me we're on the clock. So are you comfortable with me taking the quarterback that we've got first here?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to grab Jordan Love.
That's why I couldn't add it because you already had him on there. That's the
one. Okay, good. So our minds have completely melded.
Yeah, they're melded. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. It's
goes Christian Watson right after that. We had him in the Q2. Dalton Schultz goes as Team 1's first tight end. We are back on the clock. Do you like the receiver that we have right here? Because that would go really nicely with our Jet correlation.
I do not like the guy.
Yeah.
Because I think he has a lot of work to do.
Okay.
However, he should be the pick here.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
he is going to see. I mean, he's going off here for us. He's our wide receiver 5, and that's Keon
Right.
Coleman. He should see some work, and he should see
Mhm.
some damn good work, especially with Josh Allen. We didn't see a ton of it in the preseason, but what do you see in the preseason anymore?
Well, and now Curtis Samuel's got the turf toe issue, so it really does kind of open up a path for him. He's got the opportunity. So if he can't make it work, then that's going to be on him. But he's at least getting the opportunity. What's up, Joe?
Joe,
Hang out.
dropping in. What's going on, sir?
I dig it. I guess we probably should start looking at some other running backs eventually. I'm going to throw some other tight ends in the queue, although it's getting pretty icky right now.
Yeah, there's still a couple running backs on the board that I'm liking too.
Oh yeah,
Especially in this spot, this area.
There's still some in the queue that if we had drafted 0 RB, I would have been taking as my first one. So
Absolutely. Jaden Daniels.
yep.
Interesting here. Jaden Daniels, the first rookie quarterback off the board.
Yeah. I've been seeing that. I've been seeing that a little bit lately with Jane Daniels. He's looked good in the preseason, and I don't have a problem taking him over Caleb Williams. At this point, I think it's just kind of like whatever it fits my build the best. So he's got a naked Jaden Daniels here, if I'm looking at the board correctly. So no correlation there yet. Anyway, I guess he could go get Luke McCaffrey here in a little bit. Now that Dotson's gone, he's kind of shooting up those boards. I'm curious to see where he is going to go tonight.
Yeah, excuse me. I don't know. Jaden Daniels, to me, I get the rushing upside, but when you look at his weapons, I think I'd rather have Caleb, just because he's got the better weapons.
Yeah. I don't hate taking him, especially if you're doing you've got a portfolio going, right? Keep it switch it up a little bit, get some exposure to both players. But yeah, if I were in one, if you're telling me you've got one league, you've got to take, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, your quarterback, I probably am going to go with Caleb. Just because, yeah, you're right. He does have, the better supporting cast around him.
Right. Looking at the board right now, we've got one team, and it's the team right behind us or right in front of us. This coming back to us. Team 3 here is the only team without a quarterback right now. They're sitting there with CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Kincaid, Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, Rashid Rice, Chris Godwin, JSN, Tony Pollard, and Jerome Ford. And when you're looking at the quarterbacks on the board here, of course, the aforementioned Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, a couple others are still on the board here. Trying to figure out which ones would look nice on that team there. No real stacking available. No stacks available right now. What do you think he's going to do here? Is he going to come back in this 10th round and get the quarterback here, or is he going to now just push it down the board because he's the only team without one?
I mean, he could definitely push it. I mean, there's still a lot of really good quarterbacks out there. So he could definitely push it. I think it would, for me, if I were in that spot, it would depend on what happens here at the turn. And if it looks like guys are starting to take, their second quarterback, I might feel a little bit more pressure to go ahead and just grab one just to be done with it. Or, you could just be really stubborn and say, hey, I'm going to punt it and I'm going to take 3 at the end and hope that those guys work out. I really like this build though with Lamb, Neighbors, Rice, Godwin, JSN. Those were literally all guys that we had in our queue. And now I'm kind of wishing that I had more Josh Jacobs, especially after all the injury news coming out of Green Bay.
Well, it's not a ton of injury news. Just one guy to the IR, and then
two.
Yeah, but Marshawn Lloyd did not go to the IR.
Oh, the public, right? So maybe he's on the pup list, so he's not going to start for the first 4 games.
It's injury injury non-football related, so I don't even think it's the pup list. But either way,
I mean, he has a hamstring injury, so I mean,
could be
Yeah.
that that's the list they put him on. So another guy that got cut today, Samaje P. Ryan, and I think the best landing spot for him is with the pack.
could be. Yeah.
It could be an ideal addition to a depleted backfield. Give Josh Jacobs the first and second down work, and let Samaje work that third down passing down situation there until Marshawn Lloyd gets back in. Just something. I mean, where else would you see? I don't know what 75-year-old Samaje P. Ryan.
Probably back in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
go back to his home team. I could definitely see that happening. Let me ask you real quick, speaking of old running backs. So team 11 here goes Brian Robinson, and then on the turn they go grab Austin Eckler there. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's kind of a wasted pick? Like you're essentially taking, those two players back to back on the same team in the same role, or does it not? Does it make you uncomfortable? It makes me a little uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable, especially this early. If you want to wait and get Austin Eckler like in the 16th, 17th round after taking Brian Robinson, okay, fine, whatever. But here with players that are still on the board, I think it's a ridiculous move. My opinion. Not saying I am right, but I think why go and handcuff yourself, which is essentially what you did here. Besides, let's answer a question, I guess, with a question. You have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the same team in a best ball format. You could essentially see both of them have very good days.
Yes. On
a regular. In what world do you see two running backs on the same team have good days on the same day?
Yeah, it's really such a difference in position. I mean, you don't necessarily see that. So I just almost feel like that in a sense is kind of, I would say, wasting a pick, because I actually like both of these players separately, but now you've taken a spot on your roster where you could have added more value there. You could have taken another tight end, perhaps, taken a different running back there to give you some variance. But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to me. I don't. Thank God it's best ball and it's not redraft that you're doing that on. Because at least you don't have to make that pick.
Yeah, I guess the question for me is in redraft. I mean, you can always drop him and go get somebody else. In best ball, you can't.
You cannot.
Now you're stuck there with nothing. So it's not interested. I'm not interested in handcuffing my own guy, because look, especially this early in the draft, because I like to draft with expectations that I'm not going to have a single injury all year long. Right now in the 10th round, I'm already drafting my handcuff, and I'm like, I'm going to have an injury. I don't want to draft that way.
Right. I don't. Yeah, you're exactly right. I don't want to draft that way. We are going to be up. We're on deck right now. Where do you feel like we should go, Gator? Here we've got 5 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback, 2 running back. Is this when we start going to grab maybe our 3rd running back, or we try to get a tight end? I've got a few different things going on in the queue.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it. No. I mean, this guy is just going to be the guy you have at 6 right there is going to be the starter for at least for the first 4 weeks.
Which one?
The running back you have at the sixth hole.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I don't mind going there. And then
the other number 7 is for a stash for a little bit, but I would like him because it would go well with our team. 2, I mean, they cut Michael Carter, so good news for number 2.
Yep, and you were on the clock there, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the go ahead and get number 6 right there. Go ahead and get Chuba.
Oh wait, Chuba. Okay, I moved Chuba up to number 1.
Okay.
It's like 6 was a tight end. I was like, wait a minute.
Now, let me ask you something. This, I had this
Mhm.
situation happen to me over the weekend with
Yeah.
my cousin who was in a high dollar redraft league. Um, and he calls me up and he's like, dude, I've screwed up, didn't do any studying, need some help. So we got on there and started drafting, and it's a one QB, very similar settings as
Mhm.
this is right here.
Yeah.
And like we were one of the last, there was like two people. We were drafting from the 4 spot. There was like 2 people right behind us that did not draft quarterback, and we were like in the ninth
Mhm.
round. We took a quarterback. One of the 3 behind us took a quarterback, and then no quarterback comes back. Go ahead and take another quarterback, and it just put a bind on the league. Because what we did is basically
Yeah.
took Tua and took Trevor Lawrence. We were in that tier is when we took our
Mhm.
first quarterback. How do you feel about that in a best ball setting, and especially in a setting like this, and trying to
Mhm.
lock up not similar to the Brian Robinson Austin Eckler thing, but locking up 2 top 12 quarterbacks and going, okay, catch me if you can.
So honestly, that's kind of what I was just about to ask if you wanted to do that now because team one just takes their second quarterback. We've got team and we are actually on the clock right now. So we've got
Yep.
30 seconds to make this decision. Um, and this would be a quarterback who would not necessarily go with our build just yet. But
Well, you see something here because I think we do actually have one
so
that
we're
I
at,
like
we're
to
at
do.
20 seconds. So there's Cousins, Herbert, Stafford, Rogers, Watson, Mayfield, Smith. Those are all available. We're at 10 seconds. We've
All
got
right,
to make a
choose
decision.
one of them because I was looking at something completely different and thinking somebody else. So whichever one you want to go with here to fit, I
Cool.
think Bryce would be the right pick.
Oh, right now, I think we can well,
Wait on
never
Bryce.
mind. We timed out. We
Oh,
timed out. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Well,
right. So we ended up with what, Jordan? Oh, Cole Kmet.
nope.
Okay, awesome.
We didn't get a quarterback yet. We got Cole Kmet. Okay.
That's all right. We got Cole Kmet, tight end 7 on the year. I hope.
Yes.
Here goes Vince.
For sure.
I know Vince is coming at me. It's going to be my fault that we timed out, but that's okay.
All right. Okay. Well, we will there goes Conklin.
We'll regroup. We'll regroup
Yeah,
right
that'll
here.
be fine. Okay, so Chicago, we don't have any Chicago actually right now. Actually, that's not true.
Minnesota,
Um,
Detroit, Seattle.
Minnesota, yeah. We don't have any Minnesota either, or Detroit yet, or Seattle. Okay. All right. So we're in the 11th round here. So we are halfway home.
This one just seems to be a little bit slower.
It does. Yeah, I feel like everybody's using their full 60 seconds here. So just a reminder, guys, this is a 125 buy-in. It's a $300,000 grand prize to the winner. There are several payouts, pretty far down the list, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I can find out exactly how many entries this draft is. So there are 11,664 teams that are going to be in this tournament. So this is a really great rate of return. If you're playing in these tournaments, when we do these things, on Underdog, you're talking like hundreds of thousands, of entries that are going in. So this is a higher, buy-in, obviously at the 125, but your ability to kind of make that payout just a little bit better for you, I think is nice and kind of worth it for me. So I know a lot of times, I kind of get this question, Gator, like, oh, high stakes, I don't want to draft in high stakes. It's too expensive. I just don't want to kind of spend that kind of money. If you're buying $50, $25 best balls, best ball manias, you're spending that money anyway. Right. And what is, the chances that you're going to win out of 600,000 some odd people, it's pretty low. So for me, if I'm going to get more bang for my buck, this might be something that I might look into. And so that's kind of how I kind of got started with the high stakes stuff is realizing, okay, I might be spending a little more up front, but the potential for me to actually see some real cash on the back end and win some of these tournaments is a lot better because you've got a lot less entries.
Yeah, it's always better to actually win, right? It's
Well, yeah,
that's why we do it. That is 100% why we do it. Good angels. I see your comment in the chat. As soon as I get done with this, I will bring that up, and Stacy and I will hit on that as well. But this, to me, is a great time to talk about the partnership that our sister site over there at Women of Fantasy Football have with Trophy Smack. Head over to trophysmack.com/WOFF and start shopping for all of your achievement-based wants and needs. Drafts are happening throughout this week. They have the draft board. You can get those probably overnighted directly to you with all the little stickers. You can make fun of your league for drafting certain players. I drafted Cole Kmet in a draft with Josh Hudson, and he immediately puts it in there. I want my sticker that says worst draft pick ever. So the perfect kind of stuff to get on there and have fun with. You can get the championship rings. You can get belts. All of that kind of good stuff right there at trophysmack.com/WOFF. And I got word that there could be a little code that now when you go and buy a trophy or belt, you get a free ring with using code WOFF at checkout. Don't know if that's live yet or not, but oh well, I put it out there. It might be. But yes, go to trophysmack.com/WOFF. Get all of your gear today. And just as a friendly reminder, we got a couple more days. If you're doing it this month, the month of August, every bit of the commissions that Club Fantasy and Women of Fantasy collect this month, from that, go to Galvanize, the scholarship fund, which benefits Laura Oakman's Galvanized, an organization that helps offers women the tools to succeed in sports media. So any of those trophies, rings, if you want to make fun of the last place guy, make him wear last place manager, make them wear a safety vest that says I suck at fantasy football. Go get that at trophysmack.com/WOFF. That is such a mouthful, but I love doing it. Good Angels here over there on Twitch. Thank you for jumping in on Twitch. Hey, I've never done a fantasy draft until today for football. Any chance you could give me some tips on the draft I just completed? Absolutely. Absolutely. Said they had the 5 spot. So yeah, just drop it in the comments. We'll get to them as soon as you put them up there. So appreciate you checking in over there on Twitch.
Well, and I like Fantasy Dog put a tip in there for him, draft like you're right. And I think he's exactly right. When you're drafting, you want to draft with confidence. You're taking guys, on the basis that you think that you're going to be right about how their season's going to go for them. So, we're taking Keon Coleman thinking that he is going to have the opportunity to really make carve out a role for himself in that Buffalo offense. So that's why we're taking him. Otherwise, if we didn't feel like we were going to be right about it, we would pass. We'd take somebody else. So draft like you're right. That's a great one.
Yeah, I like that as well. I saw that in there and I was like, is he talking to us? Because I don't remember saying anything. And then now it makes more sense. Yeah. Now it makes way more sense.
Here we go. I threw some people in the queue. I've been playing around here with some correlation with some different guys that are available. What that might look like. I'm actually going to throw that player in too.
Yeah, I'm liking the list you have built right there.
Thank you. I think it gives us some really good options, coming down here in round 12. And it looks like we've got kind of a RB run right now with Zeke, Nick Chubb, and J.K. Dobbins. I guess we're taking old and injured running backs right now. Well, I don't want to do that. So hopefully by the time it gets to us, they're all gone.
Well, the Nick Chubb pick, we know he's going to miss the first 4 weeks at least.
Right.
J.K. Dobbins, not sure how many wheels he has left, or maybe he's like a cat and he has 9 wheels. I don't know. Did not look great when he got in the open field at times.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's going to be okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
Zeke Elliott, we know what Zeke is right now.
He posted some workout videos the other day, trying to make up for that really sad, slow training camp video that made its rounds all over the internet a few weeks ago. Tyler Lockett goes, ruining that running back streak. Zach Charbonnet was the last one who went. He was in our queue, kind of get that Seattle correlation, but that's okay. We've got some other interesting options.
Just agree with y'all as usual. I'm here for the differences in takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Lockett kind of hurt my feelings there because that was probably the backside of the Seattle correlation that I would really want to touch with that offense over there. So I'm not sure that I want to look too much further into Seattle at this point.
No, I know Noah Fant's a potential for us. Is he in Seattle?
I mean, we're going to have to get 5 more tight ends because of the Cole Kmet auto pick that I caused.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, Noah Fant might be one that we might want to take a flyer on. He's not one that I normally take, but in a tight end premium best ball, he's probably the only other one in Seattle that I'd be willing to go with. Okay, so we are on the clock. Jalen Wright just goes. How do you feel about Ty Chandler here?
I mean,
not super inspiring. I get it.
It's such a bad backfield. I mean, that's like going over to the Vegas and being like, okay, which one do you want? Neither.
Yeah.
I would.
Or do you like 2 better?
Yeah, I mean, just because of the touchdown upside, I think.
Okay.
I think he's going to get the ball a little bit down on the end zone.
He's looked electric in the preseason. So
the other side of that is how much are we actually going to be having to plug them in? You have Breece Hall, Travis Etienne. So take the dart throw. As I had Jalen Wright on there just for that reason.
Yeah. Do we want to grab a second QB now? Do we want to wait? Do we want to go grab another receiver? I threw a few receivers in there that kind of go along with what we're looking to, fill in here for, some of our correlation.
We don't have any Rams correlation that we need, do we?
Not yet. No. Or I'm saving that for later.
Okay, because I was going to say that there's the there's that.
So we are back on the clock. There's some Vegas there. I'm not really super excited about that. We could take another quarterback here. We could go and get that Seattle piece with that tight end. That's within ADP for him right now. Actually, round 3. This is exactly where he would go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I would lean there, Noah.
Yeah, I think so too. Noah Fant, come on down.
And I think at that point, though, that kind of rounds out the tight end room.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
We could now. There's also, and that person may not make it back. I'm gonna go throw them in the queue just to see if
we just ended up with. Yeah, we got 2 of them on the same bye week, I believe.
Let me take
Noah Fant and David and Joker on the same bye week.
Oh, that's fine. That's why we got Cole Kmet, Gator. Take a look at what I just put in the queue. You're asking about that piece. It is the first step, Ben.
It is the first step. That's right.
That
is correct. That is correct.
I'm gonna pop some more. There we go. There's one that I'm looking at. There's a couple. Okay, so I threw a few things in the queue there.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Like I said, not super inspiring for sure, but
no, there's one of them on there. I really like the number 6 on there. That is somebody that I am actively trying to find just about every draft I'm in right now. Somebody that is just falling way too far down the board for me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really like that one, so I'm going to take that off the queue.
1, 2, 3, 4 teams, including ourselves, only have 1 QB. Everybody else has 2.
Okay, so wait, we may get hammered here in this round, coming back on the turn.
4 others beside us only have 1.
So yeah, so
So
let
it's
me
likely going to be this round that you're going to see a run, or the come back around on the 14th round.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna have to take some, but we're gonna have to take the other one here and potentially 3.
I don't think we'll need a third one.
You don't think so? I think it depends
No.
on who we end up as our second. I think that might make that choice for us. Thanks for joining, Caesar. Looks like you're having a few drinks. Have one for us.
Cheers, 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 cheers. Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of the guys. To be honest, I don't think we'll have to.
No, and I actually, if we can grab any one of the 3 that are in there now, I think I'm okay with.
Yes.
Oh well.
There goes one of them. Yes.
There goes one with Stafford. That would have been nice to have with the Rams, but that's okay.
I don't mind that pairing at all. Josh Allen and Matthew Stafford.
No.
Don't mind that pairing at all. Actually, just looking at it right now, I don't know if Team 10 knows it yet, but both of his quarterbacks have the same bye week, so they may be going 3-3 there with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence.
Well, hopefully they're not listening.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're not, but
All right, so we've got so Team 9, Team 6, 5, and then ourselves are who's left with 1 quarterback. I like that we pushed it though. So we are ending round 13 right now. Team 12 is on the clock. I gotta say this is a really different build for me, but I don't hate it. I just always have to remember when I do the FFPC drafts that I don't have to take 1,000 receivers. I'm only going to start. I only have to start 2. More likely we'll probably start either close to at least 3, probably 4, but you can also fill that in with tight end because it makes sense here with that tight end premium. Mm-hmm. Josh Downs goes. This is kind of moving a little. You're right. This is kind of moving kind of slowly here. We are a little over an hour now, and we are only in round 14. We've got round 20 to get to.
Yeah, it's very unlike most FFPCs that I've been in. Most of them, you're moving right along, and this one just seems to be a little bit slower, which is that's fine too. Yeah.
I think maybe just because of the time that we're doing this, maybe people are taking a little bit more care and looking at their depth charts and checking on their news and everything. And wow, Team 10 goes 3 QB.
Well, and all 3 of them have the exact same bye week.
Now all 3 of them do.
Yes, all have 12 buys.
That's brutal.
I believe they all have. I believe that's correct.
That is brutal.
Just going to double check that to be 100% sure here, but interesting. Ooh, what do we got? We've got
Burrow is a 12.
Burrow.
Lawrence is a 12. And so it is wow. Whoopsies.
All 3 have the same bye week. That's a mistake.
Yeah, that's an oops. Big time oops there. And something you don't want to do in a tournament where you've paid $125 to enter it. I mean, maybe they have lots of disposable income. Hopefully they do. Vince wants to know who's ready for the Spencer Rattler experience. Vince, my dynasty team is ready for the Spencer Rattler experience.
I don't know. I don't think that experience is going to come with the happy joy that everybody thinks it's going to be.
Is it worse than Derek Carr though?
I mean, there's not much that is, but it can't. It's
At least it'd be exciting.
Possibly.
Kind of. Maybe for the first game.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, Spencer. Well,
I'm just kind of scrolling through to see who's still.
I think we're gonna have to. I don't even want to say it out loud now because I'm worried that we're gonna get jinxed.
Now, actually, I don't mind him. I
Yeah.
think that's a solid 2 and could possibly back end 1.
Huh. All right, we're gonna take Bryce.
Yeah, I think you take Bryce right here. Go ahead and lock in this second one, knowing that we don't have 2 on the same bye week right now.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
like that. And then he goes with that Deontay Johnson stack.
Mhm.
So we've been able to stack both of our quarterbacks here: Jordan Love with Jaden Reed, and then Bryce Young with Deontay Johnson
And Chuba Hubbard.
and Chuba Hubbard. Exactly. That's great. Do we want to go another receiver here? Are we looking at any?
I'm thinking I'm between 1 and 2 here. I'm leaning more 2, just because he's a wide receiver. He's the number 1 on his team, and I think he's going to get peppered. So I think you go Pop right here.
You want to go Pop? All right.
I think so. I mean,
that works. That works for me.
I was going to say we got 50 seconds here. Make the argument for who you got on number 1.
Well, so I've got Luke McCaffrey here on number 1. He doesn't necessarily go with our build. We really don't have any. We don't have any Washington at all. Just a player I like. I think he's got a good role, available to him if he can, take control of that. But that being said, I'm a big Pop Douglas fan. I think that he's still going to be the number 1 there. It's not a pretty room. It's not, something that you're probably going to be really excited to watch about on Sundays, but that doesn't mean that those fantasy points don't count. So he knows the offense, and I know they've had a turnover in, coaching staff, but I know those guys were there before, and he's a guy that was on that offense, knows that offense, and really impressed, the team last season. So you've got 2 rookies that are there with a smattering of other random receivers. I don't see any reason why it can't be Pop Douglas.
Yeah, and I really wasn't worried about talking about Luke McCaffrey or Pop, because I don't think either one of them make it back.
No, I agree.
At this point. Kind of interesting. I thought this build to start with was really good for Team 3 with CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Kincaid, Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, Rashid Rice, Chris Godwin, JSN. And then we hit this, faded the quarterback there for a little bit, but still got Jared Goff, got Baker Mayfield. But here over the 3 of the last 4 rounds, maybe a little questionable here with Jalen Wright, Bucky Irvin, Marshawn Lloyd here. Your thoughts on that?
So I don't hate the Jalen Wright pick. That might have been a smidge early for me. Well, let me look. No, 12 is where he's going right now. So I guess not. I think that he does have a role in that offense beyond just being a handcuff for Mostert and Achane. I think they're going to do some fun stuff for him. He's a really dynamic player. Mike McDaniel's probably got something up his sleeve. That being said, if any, and I kind of heard this the other day. I wish I remembered where I heard this, but if either one of those guys goes down, he does step into that handcuff role. Bucky Irving is somebody that I like from Tampa Bay. Poor Marshawn Lloyd, is dealing with some injury issues. However, it's this team. So let's see. They've got Jacobs, Pollard, Ford, Wright. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? Did I count that right? Yeah, he's his 6th running back. You are handcuffing him there with Jacobs. So when they're both on the field, I think you've kind of done something similar to the Robinson Eckler team over here. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. I don't know that I would have put him on the same team. But I think if you've taken several running backs already, I don't have a problem with taking Lloyd. I'm a big Lloyd fan. We talked about that earlier. He wouldn't fit on our team right now because we probably will need him at least at some point. To slide in there when we've got Chuba, Ray Davis that, other than our top 2 are a little suspect. I don't want to say suspect. That's probably not the right word. But, I think after the top 2, when it comes to their bye weeks, the rest of the guys that we have on our team, it's kind of a, dart throw as to who it's going to be to fill in. I don't think there's a guy there that I feel 100% comfortable with saying, oh yeah, Chuba is definitely going to be the fill-in for Breece Hall when he's on a bye, or
Well,
Ray Davis is definitely going to be that person.
well, we don't have much of a choice but to go and grab another running back because
we
Breece
have
Hall,
to,
Travis Etienne, and Ray Davis all have the same bye week.
Oh, do they? Oh no.
Uh,
Whoops.
but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
It's totally fine.
Just wanted to see. Okay, no, different team. The other player that went this round here, that I wanted to bring up, probably a little late for me that I'm bringing him up now. We probably should have brought him up earlier. Elijah Mitchell is going to be going to IR, out for the season. Jordan Mason becomes the number 2 behind CMC there in San Francisco. Jordan Mason goes off at 15-6 in this draft right here. I actually like the pick.
Yeah, I do too. I like Jordan Mason a lot. He was definitely somebody this weekend who was steaming up boards even before the Elijah Mitchell news came out. For me, Elijah Mitchell just never really took over, when CMC was either, off the field or hurt or whatever. They didn't seem to use him in that CMC role. I mean, CMC is, unicorn, but I think Jordan Mason is a little bit different style of a player. So I'm willing to roll the dice a little bit more on him than I would have been on Elijah Mitchell had he been available and not injured. Fantasy Dog has a couple stats in here for us about 31 touchdowns between Achane and Mostert. Yes, they did have a ton of touchdowns between the two of them. I feel like that's
wait.
Right,
that was that 31 touchdowns between Achane and Mostert. What week was that? Because that was against Denver. That was in
he had all 31 against Denver. Carr did throw for 4,900 yards, a couple, but the key part to your
change the couple to a few.
A couple seasons ago, not recently.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is we got to change the word couple to a few, because a couple is 2. Was it 2 years ago? I think it was longer.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, Gator. It's not great. So now we've got our teams 11 and 12 now both also have 3 quarterbacks. Team 8 has 3 quarterbacks. I feel pretty comfortable with where we are at 2. There's not really anybody that I'm looking to go after at this point. Let me just, before I commit to that. Well, I mean,
there's one guy that I would look at here, and it would be that guy. Wait, you're not entertaining Taysom Hill, are you?
Yes. No, so guys, Taysom Hill, I think only has quarterback. Yeah, he only has quarterback. What is the term that we use here?
Designation.
Designation. Thank you. In the FFPC. So I don't really want him as quarterback. If I could designate him as a tight end, maybe.
Yeah, that's funny because he just got dual designation on Yahoo. I believe it was last week, but on CBS, which is what the league that my cousin is playing on, the league that I was talking about earlier. He is QB only on that one. I'm like,
okay,
I get it, but he plays more on any other position. That's the problem I have with just having him as a QB. If you just want to have him as just tight end, okay, fine.
Right.
But come on.
So Sleeper has him as both. I actually saw this tonight. And how does that work?
He gets points for both.
But you have to. But here's my question though: for what about in a best ball situation?
It's the same as if your wide receiver, if he takes a lateral and then throws a touchdown, gets the pass, get that sort of thing.
Well, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, because like if it's a redraft, obviously you're going to put him in one of those spots. But if it's best ball, the computer is doing the scoring automatically for you. So.
Yeah, he gets so many more points for the dual designation. It's almost like you just go ahead and put him in.
So we are on deck. There's a player on the top of the queue that I really, really want.
You may as well get him. He's moving up boards.
I don't even want to say it out loud because I like la 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 la. I don't want to jinx it.
No, and that's I saw a thing today. I won't say his name, but I saw a thing today about him. If I'm not mistaken, he went undrafted.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
you
Oh,
got,
thank you. Here we
so
go.
Carson Steele,
Come on down.
he
Love it.
was out of a small school. I don't remember what it was, Toledo, Ball State. I don't remember which one it was. And then went to, was it
Ball State.
UCLA?
Mm-hmm.
It was Ball State.
It was Ball State. Yeah.
Goes to UCLA. Now it is, the Pac-12 at that time.
We are back on the clock.
They don't play
I
a
didn't
ton
mean
of
to
defense,
interrupt
you'll
you.
just ball that.
Now there's a tight end that's there. I redid the queue a little bit. I resorted the queue.
I'm just wondering, do we actually need to go for a fourth tight end here?
Yes. Don't we? Because aren't with bye weeks an issue? Or
we got 2 on one bye week and 1 on the other. So
that's right.
I think the biggest question mark right now we have is the running back.
Yes. So, well, let's see. How many do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 of them are on the same bye week late.
Yes. Yeah, I don't really.
I don't mind going ahead and just grabbing the when you have it
right here.
10 seconds.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Is that okay?
Do it.
I'm doing it. Trey Sermon
now
moves into the backup role that Evan Hall has vacated after being cut.
Another cut casualty.
Yeah. I forgot. I didn't even see him. I had to scroll a little bit further down. There.
I like that.
I had to scroll the F down, as the kids say.
Scroll the F down, as the kids say. Yes.
Yeah, Carson Steele is somebody that I can't believe that we're getting him in the 16th round right now, considering those preseason highlights.
But if anybody's playing any fantasy anywhere, they've seen him picked up in just about every single league so far. So,
yes. And we needed some KC correlation to go with our Cleveland there with Njoku. So.
Did the Trey Sermon Indy help at all?
No.
Okay.
But that's okay.
It did because it helped our team up our bye week.
Exactly. It helped our team. It did not help with correlation. But we don't have to correlate everything.
I mean, yeah. I was looking at 4 different players over here that just got picked in this last round that I had on the list. I'm like, where did they go? I had to go back and look at the board to find out where they're at. And I'm like, damn, like back to back to back. Fun when people are drafting with you.
Right.
I can't believe you've moved number 1 down to 3 already. Ooh, I like number 4 as well.
Right. Yeah.
Or 3 now. Get a little bit of that, a little bit about that wide receiver room as well. I do like that.
Yeah. Exactly, Vince. Trey is a good player. Trey Sermon, does perform when his number is called. And we got him in the 17th round, guys.
He didn't live up to the hype that I guess he was built up to be his rookie year, but
right.
I guess that was the biggest issue with him.
Yeah. But I think the role that he's in now, I think suits him.
Mm-hmm.
Being that kind of that backup role, to a bell cow there in Indy with Jonathan Taylor, who, it's not unheard of that he could miss a game or 2. Look at this late round tight end run that we're on here with Theo Johnson, Colby Parkinson, Dawson Knox, Zach Ertz, and Greg Dulcich going at the back end of the draft.
It's still criminal that Dawson Knox going in the 17th round.
I know, it's crazy.
I think with the wide receiver room in Buffalo, you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets there, especially with Dalton Kincaid not lining up in line. He's going to be more stretched out to the slot area. Dawson Knox going to be able to be in line, especially especially on goal line. So that was
Team 12. Oh, was that an auto pick for them? No, it wasn't. Okay. They took long enough though.
No, and I'm waiting for Team 9 to figure out that they also have 2 quarterbacks with the same bye week. So you have
wow.
team 9, 2 quarterbacks, same bye week. Team 10, 3 quarterbacks, all the same bye week.
They still haven't. Wow. See, it's always a good idea to pull up your boards and pay attention to what the other teams are doing.
I love the Luke McCaffrey at the end of the 17th right there. That's somebody we had on our board that I thought maybe would get back to us. But that's right about where he goes. I believe it might be a little bit later than where you
17th round, yeah. So he goes in the 17th round the last couple days. That's where he's been going. I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone higher, to be honest. Oh, there goes DeMarcus Robinson. So
they're
fingers crossed.
They're
that
on
other one stays there.
Fantasy Dog, I've got to look that one up. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. And if it's probably pretty low, but Kyle Pitts lining up in the line. I'm not 100% sure what the percentage is on that.
Oh, there goes Rashawn.
That's all right. That's all right. Now the running back, I think we're okay with the running back, especially when Carson Steele takes over week 5 from Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah.
So we've got Hall, ETN, Chuba, Ray Davis, Carson. We've got some nice rookies here.
If there is a coach on a team out there that can figure out how to take like a 5th or a 6th or an undrafted running back and make them viable.
Yeah,
I think Andy Reid that guy, right?
Right.
He just did it with Isaiah Pacheco. Like 6th round, 7th round pick, and now he's going off in the 3rd round here. In best ball drafts, I saw Isaiah Pacheco go off in the 1st round of a draft the other day.
I just put somebody in the queue that I'm shocked is still there.
Ooh, yeah, he won't make it back to us. His
Don't jinx it. Probably not though. You're probably right.
Oh wow.
Fantasy Dog wants to know Parham got cut, so who's the tight end? That would be Hayden Hurst, right?
Hayden Hurst should be. Actually, I have that pulled up right now. I will look at it and just double check. But yeah, I believe it's going to be Hayden Hurst
from the Chargers.
Yeah,
for the Parham did get cut from the Chargers, leaving the tight end room open.
Will Dissly. Will Dissly, Hayden Hurst, and our good friend Andrew Cooper's Stone Cold Smart.
Stone Smart, buddy. Oh wow, we're going four tight end or 4 QBs here with team 4. Are we gonna get Dortched?
I mean, you may as well now because I was really wanting Whittington there, but yeah, you may as well get Dortched.
Yeah, we're gonna get Dortch. We do need some Arizona to be in our lives, so we can cross that off our list. And I would like number 1 if he makes it back to us. If not, I think we need to throw some more people in the queue.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he makes it back to us, that has been your guy this year. My question on him, and I'll bring it up afterwards. But is he truly going to be the 3 in that offense?
Yes.
I have concerns on that.
I don't. Okay. I don't have concerns. I was super in on him last year. He really kind of blossomed last year. Got a few touchdowns in.
But that's, I mean, and again, I'm thinking of it as not necessarily the full best ball mindset right now.
For sure.
And I think that's the perfect.
I think though in camp and in preseason, he has been showing that he is the guy.
He is there for you.
Yeah. All right. Come on down, Yoshi.
The Dorchinator is a smash pick there. Ridiculous. He was available. Yeah. I had to go back and double check because Michael Wilson went 2.5 rounds ahead of Greg Dortch.
And see, and I love Michael Wilson, but I just have so many injury concerns with Michael Wilson. You know, he's so injured in college, and then it seems like that has really not kind of stopped in the NFL. So a little bit of a worry for me. Love grabbing Greg Dortch there at the end. All right, so we are going into, well, we're on the way back here. Round 19 is kind of, we've made our 19th pick. We've got one more pick to go. Gator, what is our build right now? We've got, I think we're set at running back. We've got 6 running backs. We've got 2 really good quarterbacks here with this situation. I like that. We've got 3 tight ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 receivers. Ooh, I like the guy that you just put in the
2, 3, 4, 5,
queue.
6, 7. Yeah, 8 receivers.
Mhm.
The last one. I
Yes.
like all 3 of the ones that are in the queue. Complete dart throws on 2 of the 3.
Mhm.
Actually, probably all 3 are dart throws, but at this point, that's kind of
In 20th round, that's where we are.
you're not getting starters here in the 20th. What are we doing?
We're definitely not getting starters here in the 20th.
Well, there goes Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that he is still there. Ooh.
See you over there just adding. I see you over there adding players. I like it. I like it.
Just gotta, gotta go in, throwing some stuff in there. Tight end 7, Cole Kmet, Vince. You're never gonna let us forget about that, huh?
Cam Akers is interesting here in the 19th here. Getting Joe Mixon. Looks like it's going to be Joe Mixon. Cam Akers is going to be that running back room, at least 1, 2, and then
Dameon Pierce.
Is it going to be Dameon Pierce?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think as it sits right now, it is. Actually, they've even got Dare Agumbawale.
Dare Agumbawale.
Dare. Yeah, Dare
is he still on the team? He didn't get cut.
He didn't get cut.
Okay.
So yeah, actually, as the roster breaks down right now, it's Joe Mixon, Cam Akers,
quite the journeyman, Dare Agumbawale.
And then Dameon Pierce dropped to 4th.
Okay. Wow. Ouch.
So, yeah. Ouch is ouch is for real. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Vince, you're not wrong. I mean, didn't he run for a 90-something yard return last year? Dameon Pierce. Vince put in the chat he's gonna rock special teams, and maybe that's
maybe. I don't know. I'm a tad worried to be frank for Dameon Pierce.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't get cut today, so that's at least that's good for him. Coming in the 20th round, Dylan Lobb goes to team 12. I'm not sure, to be completely honest, who team 11 just took.
Give me just 1 second here. Samaje Perine.
Nope, I'm talking about team 11 with that receiver.
I'm gonna find out who that is. I don't know right that, but Bailey,
yeah, I stumped. I thought I had all the depth charts memorized. I guess not. There goes our boy Will Desley.
Okay, so Devon Vale, Denver Broncos, round 7, 15 pick in round 7, 44740. Interesting, out of Utah. So
okay,
no sleeper action already.
Yeah.
Samaje Perine, Jalen Hyatt, Jermaine Burton, Darius Slayton here. Will Disley, there he goes. That is another 4 quarterback build. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, four tight end build. Johnny Munt.
Yeah, there's not a lot left in the tight end room. We are on deck. CEH just went.
What are you thinking here? Which one of these guys are you looking at? I think I know which one.
I mean, I like number 4 a lot. He's kind of a little bit of a wild card.
I think all of them are.
Yeah. Number 1 hasn't played football in 2 years.
There's nothing wrong with not playing. He didn't get hurt. He didn't get hurt for 2 years because he got hurt.
Fresh legs. Number 2, I think could be useful for a little bit, but I don't know that, how useful though. Does he come in and take that number 3 spot? Maybe. Do they sign somebody? Potentially. Well, that takes out one decision off.
Well, which is more important here? Is it the wide receiver or the running back for you?
I mean, we've got 6.
6 and 8 or 6 and 9?
Yeah, 6 and 8 or 6 and possibly 6 and 9. You make the
6 and 8. 6 and 8. Oh, this is so hard. So you don't want so Elijah Mitchell, AJ Dillon, those no, neither one. Okay, whichever one you decide. Let's go with number 2 just to be on the safe side. We'll get the extra running
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the extra running back, Emmanuel Wilson, and we'll move on from there.
Come on down, Emmanuel Wilson. Team 2 took Malachi Corley, who is also in our queue.
Well, the ending there, Jawan Jennings, Emmanuel Wilson, Malachi Corley were all guys we were had in the queue here. So as the team rounds out here, we had Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, David Njoku, Deontay Johnson, Jaden Reed, Jordan Love is the quarterback of this awesome franchise. Keon Coleman, Chuba Hubbard. The one I can absolutely take credit for here, the pick of Cole Kmet there is 100% me. Ray Davis, Noah Fant, Bryce Young, Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas there, Carson Steele, Trey Sermon, Greg Dortch, Andre Yoshivas, Emmanuel Wilson. Real quick, I want to talk about the team for a second, but I think the team name here is either Young Love or Steel Waddle.
I like Young Love. I like Young Love. I feel like it goes with our team. We've got a lot of rookies, a lot of second-year players.
I like it.
I feel like it works.
So talk about this team real quick, Stacy, before we get out of here, before we let these people go to bed on a Tuesday night.
So we are the only team who started off back-to-back running backs. Out of all 11 or out of all 12 teams, we went Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, kind of shook it up a little bit, shook that ADP up a little bit, going for Breece Hall instead of traditionally CeeDee Lamb. Tyreek Hill would have been in the second spot probably. I like our receiver room. I think that even though we pushed it, we were able to kind of come back there, and we got Waddle, Diggs, Deontay Johnson, Jaden Reed, Keon Coleman. And then at the bottom half, we've got Pop Douglas, Greg Dortch, Andre Yeshivas, all guys that have pretty defined roles in their offense, with the exception, of course, of Keon Coleman, who is, brand new and looking to carve out that role for him. I love our quarterback room here with Jordan Love, Bryce Young. I like that we didn't feel pressured to take a third and fourth quarterback like a lot of these teams did. And, it's best ball. You can say maybe you should have 3. This is only 20 rounds. If this was beyond that, maybe a 28 round, then I'm taking 3. But it's only a 20 rounder. So I don't think that you should feel like you've got to be forced into taking more than 2 quarterbacks if you've got good ones. I mean, if you waited or if you took quarterbacks that all had the same bye, then you probably need to take another one. But we didn't make that mistake, thankfully. Sorry, teams that you did that didn't make that mistake, but you guys did that to yourselves. Our tight end room is different than usually what I do, but we pushed it a little bit because we did this different build, and we got Njoku. I don't hate Cole Kmet, just to be clear. I know we did auto draft him. This is not a player that I dislike at all. You've got a rookie quarterback coming in. What do they say? An experienced tight end is a rookie quarterback's best friend. I think he is going to have a role in this offense. Mm-hmm. And then you've also got Noah Fant, who they've got a new OC coming in. So, who knows what that looks like there in Seattle. I like this team. I like that we've got it correlated fairly well. I think it makes sense. I am digging this team. I wasn't sure what to think about it at first, but I like our build. I like what we did. especially our later round picks. I think were fantastic. We got some great value here in these later rounds for some guys that were just kind of still hanging around that we were able to take advantage of. And I think that's going to be the difference maker for this team.
Yeah, I like it as well. This is as you brought up, the second time that you and I have gone running back start. We've done it from both ends of drafts now. So completely different build. But that's something you have to do in these tournaments like this, right? You don't want to be the same. If you sit there at the 2 spot and take CeeDee Lamb every single time, you're probably going to end up very, very close to the exact same build every single time. So changing it up and going back to back running backs here with Hall and ETN. I actually do like this build, and I even love the name of the team now, Young Love. It's grown on me. It is what it is. We have the old man Noah Fant there in the room as well to make sure the kids are go to bed on time. Good stuff like that. Get ready to play ball on Sundays.
Love it. Gator, this has been so fun. What a great way to spend our entire summer, doing best ball drafts every single week since April.
It's been an absolute blast. I'll tell you what, Stacy, I know I've had a couple of people reach out to me via DM and then through the mock chat that I run. I've learned a great deal. Feel a lot more comfortable when I go into them, as well as some of the people that have popped into some of our drafts. And they're like all the time. So appreciate you doing this. Hopefully we had enough fun that you're like, we had fun, but we didn't have enough yet. So we'll get to do it again next year.
Yes.
And be back for this. Real quick, breaking news. Just so you know, actually, 2 things, two big breaking news. Both of them matter for us. We got a great draft by Vince. We got an A+, and I was involved. So I'm not going to bring up his other comment that he said it's a B+ now because of me. But the other breaking news is the Atlanta Braves just won. Came back and won 8-6.
Yes.
So you know.
That's the best breaking news of all. Go Braves.
Don't forget, tomorrow night is the Women of Fantasy Football's podcast, the WOFF podcast, at 7 p.m. Yes. They will be giving away 2 more jerseys. The jerseys tomorrow are for Jalen Hurts and the Kelly Green jersey for Jason
Kelce.
Yes.
That's a nice one.
Yes. Oh, Josh is like jonesing to put some money in this pot. I know he is. He's got to be with these 2 jerseys.
$100 million podcast man, Jason Kelce.
Yes. And then 9 o'clock tomorrow night is the flagship show, no pun intended. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Trade Block, the trade show here on Club Fantasy. Thursday, Mock Girls Summer at 10 as well. Friday, 8 p.m., Mock It Like It's Hot. Saturday morning, Summer School, the other Best Ball Show starts at 11 a.m. And then on Sunday is the Dynasty After Party at 11 a.m. as well. No show as of right now for next Monday or Tuesday. We'll have some other stuff going out, but we're fixing to get ready for in-season content for those days. And man, oh man, there are shows in the pipes that holy smokes. It's like every single day Josh is messaging me. We got more show. We got another show. We got another show. So going from like 15 shows to like 65 shows in 2 weeks. So it's been fun. Big thank you to all the viewers, listeners, Vince, Fantasy Dog, everybody that popped into the chat. Big thank you, Joe, everybody. Stacy, let the good people know where they can find you first of all, and then what are you working on, where at?
So you guys can find me over on Twitter at Stacy_Perez83. Also, what am I working on right now is getting ready for the season. Just like I said, I went to Kentucky, did some drafting there, getting ready for my trip out to Vegas. Next week, doing a few main event drafts there for the FFPC. If you are in Vegas, please let me know. I would love to meet up, say hello. I've already heard from some people, so I know there's going to be a ton of people out there, so definitely want to meet as many people as possible. But just kind of really trying to get ready for the season, Gator, get ready for that grind. Those waivers, actually already started putting in a ton of waiver requests this afternoon after all those cut, news came out. There is no off season in fantasy football. No off season, guys.
There is no off season in fantasy at all. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to Club Fantasy FFL or subscribed to Women of Fantasy here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bells. It notifies you whenever we go live on any of our shows. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers here on Club Fantasy. We can do that only with your help. Make sure you also check out all the shows on Club Fantasy, as well as all of our written work over at clubfantasyffl.com. I'd love to say until next week, but it is not until next week. It is now until next year.